The language wars have spilled onto the streets of Maharashtra, and it now appears this is a fight to the finish. Clearly, as some analysts argue, an existential fight. Uddhav Thackeray's victory or death war cry seems to have been taken to a level where non-Marathi speakers are being roughed up on the streets. Now, ahead of municipal elections, the Thackeray brothers have united. Is there merit in analysts saying that for them it is a do or die battle in the upcoming municipal elections? But is this Marathi Asmita war actually harming that cosmopolitan culture of Maharashtra? That's our focus on the show.
Dharna, drama and detentions. MNS on warpath for Marathi pride. Non-stop rampage by Thackeray vandals. Street fight turns into political fight. Maha language war escalates. Big focus on India First.
We keep India first. We get you all sides of the story for you to make up your mind. Because the question that we're asking, is there merit in the claim that's being made that Hindi is being forced down Maharashtra's throat as part of one nation, one language agenda of the BJP? Or is there merit in the argument that it's not about Marathi Asmita, it's about the 75,000 crore rupee budget of the municipal corporation, and with these elections barely 3 to 4 months away, it's now an existential war, both for Uddhav Thackeray and his cousin Raj Thackeray. They've united to stoke this Marathi Asmita fire for their political gains. We'll get you all sides of the story. I'm Gaurav Sawant. As always, let's get started. The suburb of Thane, Mumbai's suburb Thane, came to a virtual standstill. The Maharashtra language war spilled onto the streets. Maharashtra Navnirman Sena workers, their march to Mumbai was halted by the administration. But the politics, nothing's halting that. That's escalating. In fact, Raj Thackeray's Maharashtra Navnirman Sena workers have been on the rampage against non-Marathi speakers, with Mumbai civic polls approaching, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the municipal corporation elections approaching in Maharashtra. Is the Marathi pride being exploited in this existential battle of the Thackerays for power? We bring you more in this report.
Mumbai suburb Mira Bhayander came to a standstill on Tuesday afternoon, with the Marathi language war spilling onto the streets.
The large number of MNS workers were gathered here. The situation was getting out of hand, and this was not a very legit protest according to the police, which had not given them the permission. And that's one of the reasons why, the detention of these people took place in large numbers.
Workers of Raj Thackeray's Maharashtra Navnirman Sena were on the warpath against local traders, who had been protesting against the assault of a food stall owner for not speaking Marathi. The plan was to march to Mumbai, but the local police detained MNS workers.
हम लोग को अभी पता नहीं कहाँ लेके जा रहे हैं. हम लोग ऐसा लगे कि हम आतंकवादी है. हम लोग के लिए तो कुछ यही नहीं है.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says MNS workers did not follow the permitted route.
इस प्रकार के प्रयोग यहाँ चलेंगे नहीं. जो मराठी आदमी है वो बड़े दिल का है. मराठी आदमी कभी छोटा सोच नहीं सकता, कभी संकुचित सोच नहीं सकता. इसलिए कोई प्रयोग करने की कोशिश भी करे तो नहीं हो पाएगा.
The language war though seems to have divided a wedge between the ruling Mahayuti alliance. Shiv Sena leader Pratap Sanik joined the MNS protest.
जिस तरह से वो कार्यकर्ताओं को पकड़ रहे हैं, नोटिस दे रहे हैं, अरेस्ट कर रहे हैं, ये गलत है. ताकत तभी दिखानी चाहिए तभी कुछ अगर गलत हो. उन्होंने अगर मोर्चा निकाला और गलत कुछ किया रहेगा तो उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. मगर मोर्चा निकालने से पहले अगर आप गलतियां कर रहे हो तो ये पुलिस की गलती.
While the battle over Marathi pride raged on in the streets, political war of words also escalated. BJP MP Nishikant Dubey launched a blazing attack on MNS chief Raj Thackeray.
हिम्मत है तो आप हिंदी भाषी को मारते हो तो उर्दू भाषी को भी मारो, तमिलियन को भी मारो, आप जो है तेलुगु वाले को भी मारो। आप जो इस तरह की घटिया हरकत कर रहे हो, और मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि जब अपने घर में हो, महाराष्ट्र में हो, यदि बहुत बड़े बॉस हो तो चलो बिहार, चलो उत्तर प्रदेश, चलो तमिलनाडु, तुमको पटक पटक के मारेंगे।
मुझे आश्चर्य है महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री और उनके पूरे कैबिनेट का, एक आदमी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सांसद वहां बैठकर महाराष्ट्र के बारे में, मराठी आदमी के बारे में, मराठी मानुस के बारे में घटिया बातें करता है और आप चुप बैठे हो।
The escalation comes days after the big Thackeray reunion.
विनाकारण उठसूट काही मारामारी करायची गरज नाही, मारायची गरज नाही, पण जर जास्ती नाटकं केली तर कानाखाली आवाज काढलाच पाहिजे तुम्ही, पण चूक त्यांची असली पाहिजे। आणि एका गोष्टीचं लक्षात ठेवा, अशी कधी गोष्ट कराल त्याचे व्हिडिओ काढू नका।
Marathi and Maratha pride has taken center stage days before Mumbai civic pose. But how can Gundaism and violence be justified? Vidya in Thane, Bureau Report, India Today.
But this isn't the only instance. Let me show you another video. So there was massive outrage after the video of a Maharashtra Navnirman Sena leader's son, apparently drunk and not just on par, went viral. India Today relentlessly showed you the report of Rahil Sheikh. Now an FIR has been filed against Rahil Sheikh. He is the son of Maharashtra Navnirman Sena State Vice President Javed Sheikh. He's been grilled for several hours and apparently he's now confessed he was driving under the influence. The question remains, is adequate police action being done in terms of taking a blood sample and proceeding legally, or will it just remain action because there is pressure right now? We bring you more in this report.
तुझा बाप महाराष्ट्राचा अध्यक्ष आहे। कोण? मनसेवाले। माझ्यावर गाडी चढवायला
Drunk, half naked, abusive, flaunting his dad's political power. This is how Rahil Sheikh, son of MNS Vice President Javed Sheikh, made the news, ramming his car into that of a woman and threatening her when confronted. After India Today's relentless coverage, Mumbai police was forced to act. Rahil was grilled for 6 hours, with Daddy Dearest sitting right beside him. And finally, Rahil cracked, admitting to drinking and misbehaving. Now claims he regrets it. But the woman he abused, influencer Rajeshri More, isn't buying the sorry act.
आज तू माझी गाडी ठोकतोयस, आपल्या बापाची धमकी देतोयस, तुम्हाला माफ करा ना, माफी नको आहे।
Backed by Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Nirupam, she has filed a fresh complaint alleging threat calls from MNS workers trying to silence her.
मुझे हरास किया गया, मुझे मेरा व्यवसाय तोड़ने के लिए धमकियां दी गई। ओशिवरा पुलिस स्टेशन में 200 लोग लेके आए गए मेरे अगेंस्ट। उसके बाद ठीक एक दिन के बाद मेरी ही गाड़ी को उसी पार्टी का एक आदमी इतनी बुरी तरीके से मुझे टारगेट करता है, मेरी गाड़ी के साथ एक्सीडेंट करता है। उसके बाद मुझे गालियां देता है, मुझे धमकियां देता है।
An FIR has now been registered on charges of drunken driving, rash and negligent behavior, outraging a woman's modesty and endangering public safety.
देखिए, जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था उससे रिलेटेड पुलिस ने एफआईआर ली है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जितने भी सेक्शंस हैं सारे बेलेबल ऑफेंसेस है, जितने भी ऑफेंसेस है सारे बेलेबल है। तो जो भी कार्रवाई, जिस तरह की सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए थी वो नहीं हुई है। तो अभी उनका 164 का स्टेटमेंट वगैरह रिकॉर्ड होने के बाद चार्जशीट फाइल होगी, केस तो रहेगा।
राजश्री मोरे मैडम के साथ कल परसों जो दुर्व्यवहार किया गया, एक नौजवान शराब की नशा में धुत था, अर्धनग्न था, और वो मनसे का नाम लेके इनको लगातार गाली दे रहा था, धमकी दे रहा था। आज हम यहाँ पे मोरे मैडम को लेकर यहाँ आए हैं ताकि सरकार की तरफ से, पुलिस की तरफ से न्याय मिले।
The evidence is on tape. the police knows the culprit. Now Maharashtra wants to know, will this VVIP brat be punished or will power win again? Bureau Report, India Today.
So is beating a non-Marathi speaking food stall owner the road to power in Maharashtra? Is that Marathi Asmita all about? Now traders versus MNS, Shiv Sena, UBT supporters, where are the Congress and the NCP in all of this? And when Uddhav Thackeray and Raj Thackeray joined forces, is it actually for Marathi Asmita or is it a desperate move for survival? All about municipal elections. Joining me on this India First special, Shaina NC represents the Shiv Sena. Avinash Jadhav is the spokesperson of NCP. Sharad Pawar, Sushma Andare joins me as deputy leader and spokesperson of the Shiv Sena. UBT, Sahil Joshi is managing editor and a person on ground on the story. But my first question is to Rajdeep Sardesai, our consultant editor. And few people understand Maharashtra and Gujarat and Goa and politics of our country better than Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep, welcome. Your take on this. Is this a do or die both for Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray, as Uddhav Thackeray put it, victory or death? And that is why we see this action on ground?
I think, Gaurav, you've got to see this at multiple levels. Certainly, you've got to see it at one level as the coming together of the Thackeray brothers for ensuring their continuing political relevance ahead of the BMC elections. To unite in a way the Marathi Manus of Mumbai in particular, using language as a weapon, thereby hoping to consolidate that Marathi vote and achieve a measure of success in the BMC election. So the politics is very clear. This is primarily in that sense about a political consolidation, an attempted political consolidation of the Marathi vote. But let's also be clear that there are cultural dimensions to what is happening that cannot be ignored. For the longest time, and this goes back to Mahasaheb Thackeray, who started the Sons of the Soil movement, a belief that Maharashtrians in a way are getting pushed to the margins, are not getting their due. Earlier it was about jobs, now it's about language. And therefore that is being used in a way to try and create a sense of cultural pride or cultural assertiveness using language as a weapon again. So there is the political angle, Gaurav, but let's also not forget the cultural angle, just as we've seen in other states. Yes. We've seen it in Tamil Nadu, we've seen it in Karnataka. I think the manner in which Hindi was being seen to be imposed on students from class 1 to 5 gave an opportunity for the two Senas to come together and say Marathi is being marginalized at the cost of Hindi.
Imagine this is happening where Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak in the freedom struggle spoke of Devanagari script, Marathi and Hindi uniting the entire country way back in 1905, and what's happening in 2025. But Rajdeep, was the BJP actually trying to force this one nation, one language through the now revoked order of Hindi being the optional third language?
Look, it is an order which has been brought, which was attempted to be brought across the country under the new education policy. It's not just limited to Maharashtra, but the manner in which it is sought to be implemented has led to some kind of a pushback because it's a perceptual issue. If you see the speeches that the Thackerays are making, they are claiming we are with Hindutva, but that doesn't mean that we are with Hindi. So somewhere there is this fear that through this Hindi, Hindu, Hindutva, you are bringing in an element of uniformity using language to try and across the country make Hindi the national link language. Now, the government may be well-intentioned, but the truth of the matter is it also then in certain states gives an opportunity to linguistic chauvinists to say, what about the regional language? We want regional language first, Hindi should be optional. So I think the manner in which it has played out on the ground has given an opportunity to the Senas. I do not for a moment agree with the violence and the thuggish behavior, Gaurav. Let's be very clear, unacceptable. You cannot thrash someone simply because he or she doesn't speak Marathi. That's unacceptable. That's a violation of the law. But you also have to recognize that there will be an element of cultural assertiveness, of regional assertiveness, if you are seen to be pushing a language without consultation, without consensus.
But imagine more than 100 years ago, Lokmanya Tilak was trying to push one nation, nationalism,
one minute. No,
nationalism, Hindi, to unite this entire nation against the British, and now we don't want that national unity. In this. Yes, please.
Can I briefly disagree with you?
Please.
Lokmanya Tilak brought out Kesari. What was the language?
Marathi
Lokmanya
in
Tilak started.
In Devanagari.
No, 1 minute. But Lokmanya Tilak's newspaper was in Marathi. Lokmanya Tilak's speeches were in Marathi primarily. Lokmanya Tilak brought about the idea of a Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav to unite people. He may have tried to unite people on the basis of, you could argue, their religious identity using religious festivals like Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav, yes. But he was very conscious of the Maharashtrian culture and Maharashtrian identity. That's the point. My point is both should ideally coexist.
Yes.
You should be, but you see, if the government of the day is accused by the Senas today of not doing enough for Marathi, of not doing enough to promote Marathi, then I think it is the duty of the government to ensure that Marathi also gets its due place.
But are they promoting Marathi, or are they promoting themselves, or seeking to promote themselves, just riding piggyback on Marathi Asmita and just till municipal elections? Because many analysts have argued, and you would understand this better and can explain this better, is it all for the control of that 75,000 crore rupee budget of the BMC?
Look, Gaurav, if you remember, right at the very outset, I said this is primarily about a political power game. Uddhav Thackeray, after the defeat in the November assembly elections, is desperately keen to regain some element of clout. The BMC is critical. The Shiv Sena has controlled BMC for 30 years. You've got Raj Thackeray, who's keen to re-establish his political relevance when he's been pushed to the margin. Just got 1.5% of the vote in the assembly elections. And you've got Eknath Shinde. Don't forget that. Eknath Shinde is the one who has emerged in a way as claiming, I am the true inheritor of the Shiv Sena and Balasaheb Thakray's legacy. So the Thackeray brand also has in some way got damaged, diluted by recent election defeats, particularly in the assembly election. How do I restore the brand? Try and go back to what it claims to have originally stood for, sons of the soil. So the politics is there, Gaurav. I am saying both are there. You have to explore the political angle, but you cannot ignore the dimension of cultural identity and assertiveness, not just in Maharashtra, but in different parts of the country.
Absolutely. And where are the Congress and the NCP, Sharad Pawar, in this? What are their considerations, Rajdeep?
That's a very interesting question. The Congress is clearly, caught between a rock and a hard place. How does the Congress, which wants to re-establish itself in North India, align itself to a political agenda and a cultural agenda that is in any way seen at the moment to be anti-Hindi? So if the Congress were to share a platform, let's say with the MNS, or indeed if the Sena UBT was to take the same strident stand as the MNS is taking, can the Congress really be seen on the same platform, especially when Bihar is going to the polls in 4-5 months from now? Unlikely. So the Congress is caught in a bind. On the other hand, they want to preserve their MV alliance. So they are playing it very cautiously. The NCP, on the other hand, somewhere hopes that if regional pride or regional asmita spreads or becomes a more attractive option, then they also will indirectly benefit because they are primarily a party of Maharashtra. But I doubt that in today's Maharashtra, this agenda can succeed across the state. But there are pockets of Mumbai, as we are seeing, where the Marathi Manus is in large numbers. In any case, let me tell you and the viewers, Marathi-speaking people have never been a majority in Mumbai for over a century and beyond, about 40-42%. So how do I consolidate that 40-42%? NCP doesn't have much of a stake in Mumbai. So they are happy to watch this play out and hope that the Devendra Fadnavis government is embarrassed by it. All of this is therefore at one level about pure politics, but at another level, language, and we've not for the first time, is also used as a weapon for cultural assertiveness.
It indeed is. And Rajdeep, we'll track the story closely. I now want to throw this open for a wider discussion. Rajdeep, many, many thanks for joining me here on India First. Shaina NC, let me now bring you in. BJP and Shiv Sena's Eknath Shinde faction. Now, are you trying to force Hindi down Maharashtra's throat? Because this is a battle for Marathi Asmita versus what is being seen as this rising power of Gujaratis, North Indians and outsiders in Mumbai and Thane.
Gaurav, at the outset, let me please say that our party and our leader, Eknath Shinde, has made it amply clear that we stand for Marathi. There is no compromise when it comes to Marathi. But isn't it ironical that you asked me this question when the National Education Policy 2020, which was recommended by Dr. Mashalkar, this committee came and suggested that Marathi, English, Hindi be taught from class 1 to class 12. And it was then on January 27th, 2022, that Uddhav Thackeray, the then chief minister, during his cabinet meeting, adopted the policy. Now, if you cut to size and you come to the recent scenario, I mean, obviously the timing is suspect, the motive is suspect, because you have two factions of the Ubata Sena and the Manse, which have no political relevance left, and they are thinking of coming together and using Marathi. Now, I use the word using Marathi in, just before the upcoming civic polls, which is not the actual intent. As far as we are concerned, we are very, very clear. Whether it is Eknath Shinde or Devendra Fadnavis, they have made it amply clear on multiple occasions that law and order will be maintained in the state of Maharashtra. We respect Marathi language clearly. We respect the people, the culture. It's a non-negotiable. But at the same time, if you believe that you can encourage people, we do want people to speak Marathi. Why shouldn't people?
Let me bring in Sushma ji for more on this. Stay with me. I also want to bring in Sahil on whether, what's the traction on ground. But Sushma ji, is beating up non-Marathi speakers the only way to win elections and not on the basis of work that may have been done since Shiv Sena was in power in BMC?
Government has a very lying spokesperson कि बार बार झूठ बोलो और झूठ बोलते जाओ. यही शिंदे गुट और सारे फडणवीस के सारे प्रवक्तागण ये बार बार झूठ बोलते जाते हैं. लेकिन हम बार बार कहे जा रहे हैं कि म सिर्फ महापालिका का नहीं, म मराठी का है, म महाराष्ट्र का है, म मुंबई का है और म मातोश्री मीनाताई ठाकरे के संस्कारों का है. हम बार बार बोले जा रहे हैं कि द शिवसेना UBT has always been a staunch advocate for the pride, identity and right of the Marathi people. The Marathi language is not just a medium of communication, but the soul of Maharashtra's cultural heritage and identity. Recent discussions around language policies in our state have raised concerns, and we want to make our position crystal and clear. Our core party stand is respect for Marathi, no opposition to other language. Shiv Sena UBT firmly believes that the Marathi language must
what about
be respected.
Manse? You've seen what Maharashtra Navnirman Sena is doing. You're looking at people being slapped around.
Yes. I'm coming there. Shiv Sena firmly believes that the Marathi language must be respected, promoted, and protected as the cornerstone of Maharashtra identity. We are not against any other language, including Hindi or the diversity of India's linguistic heritage. However, we strongly oppose any attempts to undermine our marginalized Marathi in our own state. Every language has its place, but in Maharashtra, Marathi must hold its rightful prominence. लेकिन आप जब कहते हो कि
जी
yes, I'm answering. See, Shiv Sena has always been, जैसे कि हमने कहा कि हम बार बार कहे जा रहे हैं कि हम इस बारे में कभी भी किसी भी तरह के we do not support violence. The current aggressive atmosphere in Maharashtra, particularly in Mumbai, over the Marathi language issue is preliminary due to the actions of Chief Minister and Home Minister Devendra Fadnavis. In a recent press conference,
I'll come back to you.
I'm giving only 3 examples. Please, let me clear. I'm giving only.
The moment I bring in Anish, I'll just bring in Anish and Sahil for a moment for their opening comments, because I want this to be a free-flowing conversation where everyone gets to say what they want to and let our viewers decide. Because Anish, where is the NCP Sharad Pawar on this, real issues of development, roads, infrastructure? Have they all taken a backseat in this very emotive issue of Marathi Asmita?
Not at all, Gaurav. Firstly, thank you very much for having me on your show and good to see so many familiar faces today. Let me start off by saying that Marathi in Mumbai has always been an incredibly emotive issue. Multiple governments have recognized this and multiple governments have come up with various solutions to it. You cannot deny that there is public anger, right? Because people are being called Vernac, people are being called Ghati, they're being disrespected. The government's job is to ensure that these anxieties within people are controlled, are addressed. But what is our government doing today? The government is behaving like the opposition. You say there's a law and order problem. The state government is in their hands. The central government is in their hands. The BMC is currently being administered by them. How is there a law and order problem in Maharashtra? If there is a law and order problem in Maharashtra, you should address it. You should address the people beating up people for not speaking Marathi, but you should then also take action in the Badlapur case, where we've not seen any action against BJP trustees of a school where 2 children were sexually assaulted. You should also take action in the Pune Porsche case, where somebody is out on bail. You should also take action in the Vaishnavi Hagavane dowry death case. So law and order has collapsed in Maharashtra. We've been saying this for a while. Now when it comes to the issue of language, this government has offered no concrete solutions. 700 public libraries have shut down in the last 5 years. Marathi theatres are shutting down. Yesterday, Pawar Sahib opened a new Marathi theatre in Alibag. The opposition has to do the job of the government today. This is the condition. And the biggest problem we have is with education. Today, Supriya Dai was in Azad Maidan. More than 5,000 teachers have been protesting in Azad Maidan. Nobody has covered it. Have you covered it today? I'd like to ask you in your headlines, right?
Yeah. Sahil and his team in Mumbai
Marathi,
have covered it in a big
TV
way.
channels cover it. But I'm not saying this directly to you. But I'm saying this as a general trend, right? That when these issues get raised with the government fails to acknowledge them. They have 82,000 crores to build the Shaktipeeth Mahamarga, which has more potholes than a road in Mumbai, which is an achievement by itself. But the 5,000 schools in Maharashtra that they promise aid to have not been given a penny.
Okay.
This government has failed to give any concrete solutions. I want to ask Shaina, who's a dear friend, please tell me, what is the government doing?
Okay, I'll get Shaina to respond to this because you've raised a direct point. But Sahil, is there traction on ground on this Marathi Asmita pitch? Shiv Sena Shinde leader, you spoke to Pratap Sarnaik, a minister in the Eknath Shinde government, is joining these protests. What's his reasoning?
Well, Pratap Sarnaik had a very clear reason, and he thought that the agitation which was called out by the Marathi Ekikaran Samiti, not MNS, to be factual, and MNS and Shiv Sena UBT were part of it. He decided to be part of that as well. He thought that they had a right to protest, and he should be part of it. And after that, he also mentioned to me when I spoke to him that the police action was completely unfounded and unnecessary. And according to him, even the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is also on the same page what he was trying to say at that particular time. Also, he was completely critical about Nishikant Dubey, the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey's statement, and not only him, but also the local leadership of the BJP was critical about Nishikant Dubey's statement because they clearly understand the issue can turn into a completely emotive issue altogether. And also what Rajdeep was saying before, he was trying to put the politics aside from the culture, the Marathi culture and the pride. It has always, what we have seen is that the Marathi pride has always been followed by the politics played around the Marathi issue. We saw that, the formation of Shiv Sena also, it's kind of an outcome of the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement, which started in 1955, and then eventually the Maharashtra state was carved out from the Bombay state, and Mumbai became the capital of Maharashtra. So it has its own history, and whenever such kind of issues come up, people revisit that history again and again. And everybody on this panel, including that of Shaina NC, must be knowing about what happened in 1960, 1955, and then eventually followed up by the formation of Shiv Sena by Balasaheb Thackeray. So now let's come to the issue at this point of time. It all started with a government resolution which we call an order by the state government of Maharashtra and the education department, which of course belongs to Shiv Sena at this point of time. The minister came out with an order saying that making Hindi compulsory from standard 1 to standard 4. And let me also tell our viewers that in Maharashtra, since many years, the Hindi has been taught as a third language since, from standard 5. Even I have done my schooling in Marathi medium, and I have learned Hindi from standard 5 in state board schools
but
in
you know,
in
the
Maharashtra.
point that you raised,
So, you know,
Sahil, on Patak
that is
Patak ke
very clear.
marenge, Nishikant Dube's line, Shaina NC, wouldn't this put the BJP, Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena clearly on the back foot, because this is where this could become a very emotive issue, and plus your own party leader joining and minister joining the protests.
So I want to say 2-3 things, and I want to respond to the NCP spokesperson as well. You asked that what we have done. Let me please tell you that Eknath Shinde, when he was the chief minister, resolved and brought back displaced Marathi people to live in Mumbai. Whether it's fast-tracking many delayed redevelopment projects across the state, or the Abhijat Darja, the fact that Marathi has always been a priority, its people, its culture, etc., the list is endless. So Marathi being the soul is something which is established, and as Sahil said, it's part of our lifeblood. And it comes so naturally to the Shiv Sena that we don't need to orchestrate or plan timing or plan, moments to resurrect ourselves, because we have championed this cause all along. You asked about Pratap Sarnaik ji. Now, as a representative of public, if he goes for a cause which we all believe in, without taking law into our hand, and it's not just the Marathi community that we respect. Here it is suggesting that yes, other languages and cultures too can be respected, but as representatives of the state and of Mumbai and of Thane, Mira Road, etc., our representation there too in a movement is something which comes from the correct source. But the question you should be asking, Gaurav, here today is, what is the opposition doing? The opposition is only trying to constantly say that, oh, this is our cause. This is not a cause. This is a movement. This is the philosophy and the ideology of Hindu Hriday Samrat Adarniya Balasaheb Thackeray. And when Eknath Shinde ji and the Shiv Sena says that we have opposed the compulsory Hindi policy, highlighting that Marathi pride is an identity and it's a non-negotiable, please also understand that Shindeji's stand has contributed to the government the decision to withdraw the GR, whether it's Dada
Fair enough.
whether it's Devendra Fadnavis, whether it's Eknath Shinde. This
No, but
reflects
my
not just
wider
our emotion,
question
but
is,
our commitment.
my wider question is, what is wrong in learning Hindi? Anish,
Absolutely nothing, but it is optionality, which is
it is optional. It is optional. It's a third language. What is wrong if Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, thought it's a language that can unite the entire nation? Why this strong opposition in different parts of the country, unless it's only vote bank politics, Anish?
It's political opportunism.
Gaurav, you gave me Lokmanya Tilak. Let me quote Savarkar to you, which is very unlikely for an NCP SP spokesperson, and say that Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Veer Savarkar, believed in Bhasha Shuddhi and said that Marathi was superior to Hindi because it was truer to its Sanskrit roots. And so we want to preserve that unique identity of Marathi. Nobody has any problem with Hindi. But when you start converting SSC schools into CBSE schools, when you embark upon a project to centralize education in Maharashtra, where decisions made in Delhi are thrust down the throats of lakhs of students across the state, where the degrees that they will soon get from schools controlled by the central government do not have the value that the paper that they're printed on.
Okay.
No, but this is part of a wider project, right? I think the GR is certainly something, and I agree with Shaina here. And I want to say that, in fact, on this one issue, you're seeing all regional parties being united.
Yes, yes. And that is why, Sahil, the last 30 seconds I have on this part of the show. Sahil, till the BMC elections, is this likely to hot up even further? Identity politics be the passport to power for the Thackeray's?
Well, actually, it looks like that the government miscalculated. They never thought that two Thackeray brothers will be coming together, because it's the same Raj Thackeray with whom Eknath Shinde was having a dinner and was planning to have an alliance with Raj Thackeray so that he can have a better bargaining chip with the the BJP for the upcoming BMC elections. Now that the two Thackeray brothers have come together, you know, it is still Uddhav Thackeray has already opened his cards. He's asking Raj Thackeray to have an alliance, whereas Raj Thackeray has kept his cards close to his chest. And now both of them have literally forced the Shiv Sena to come out and say very clearly that they do not want the third language to be taught from standard 1, and they have opposed this government resolution, whereas it's only BJP who is saying at this point of time in Maharashtra that there is nothing wrong to teach Hindi from standard 1. But now it looks like that you know, the whole issue has gone beyond it. Now it has gone to the Marathi pride, the Marathi asmita, and it will turn out it has rolled down into an alliance of two Thackeray brothers. So in coming months, we'll get to know whether actually these two brothers come together, sit together, not only on a particular issue, but also to forge an alliance to fight election against Eknath Shinde and the BJP.
And Sahil and his team would be tracking that story very, very closely. Anish, I'm sorry,
Gaurav,
I've run out of time.
one thing. Gaurav, one last second.
Okay, last 20 seconds. I can never say no. Go on, sir.
Spokesperson today? Where's the BJP spokesperson today? That should tell you everything. Where's the BJP spokesperson today?
Fair enough. You know, Shaina, Anish and Sahil for joining me here on this India First special broadcast. Many thanks in the run-up to BMC elections. Lots more on Marathi Asmita, I'm sure. But petrol and gas prices have been increased in Pakistan yet again. Pakistan is spending all the money it gets as arms, as it begs for money to buy weapons, and then it keeps increasing taxes and duties on gas and petrol. What's the reaction on ground? Look at what's happening on ground where people say their government is looting them. Listen in.
Prices and discontent with the regime, both are soaring in Pakistan. Fuel is on fire. Despite a global dip, petrol prices are 266.79 Pakistani rupee per litre in Pakistan, while diesel is now 272.98 Pakistani rupee per litre. A late-night hike in prices has Pakistani citizens up in arms. But it is not just fuel. Pakistan plans to impose a 3.23 rupee per unit electricity surcharge for financial year 26 to finance a 1.25 rupee trillion debt restructuring plan. Pakistani citizens are reeling under spiraling electricity bills. Remember, before the polls, the PPP and the PMLN had vowed to cut electricity prices, assuring free electricity below 200 units. The outrage is evident in Pakistani media too. The anger in Pakistan is mounting. But for a country that sponsors terror, can the well-being of its citizens ever be a priority? Bureau Report, India Today.
Dr. Amjad Ayub Mirza is an author and a rights activist from Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir. He joins us on this broadcast. Sushant Sareen is a senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. Dr. Mirza, what's happening in Pakistan? People seem to be very angry if you go by these reports. But the government seems to be buying more weapons and systems and not food for people.
Well, a massive revolt is simmering under the surface of this public discontent, and already there are public meetings being held everywhere across Pakistan, where people are questioning the legitimacy of the defense budget, the legitimacy of these recent increases in the salaries of parliamentarians, recent increase in the salary of the speaker and the prime minister. And those increments cannot be challenged in the parliament or in any court of law. So people are really, really angry. At the moment, the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK in short, is in full rebellion. They have given a deadline of 8th of July, which is today, that if Pakistan army does not withdraw from the checkpoints, they will start an armed rebellion. This was decided by the Dawar tribe, by the Waziri tribe, and by the Masood tribe. And the same thing is happening in Balochistan. Yesterday, 6 Pakistani military personnel were killed.
Yes.
Today, they brought Dr. Marang Baloch of Baloch Executive Committee to the court, and halfway, they, instead of taking her to the normal court, they took her to the anti-terrorism court and have issued a 10-day judicial remand on the BYC leaders. So there is political discontent. Now there is this price hike, and people cannot simply afford to live anymore. I mean,
Sushant
people,
Sarin, there are many who say that the Pakistan army and government are behaving more like the East India Company, exploiting not just Baluchistan, exploiting not just Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but now even the people in Pakistan's Punjab province say that this government is a Makkar government or words to that effect. Your appreciation of the ground reality given the spiraling prices, and yet the Pakistan army increases its budget and buys more weapons.
Yeah, because Gaurav, the thing is that the Pakistan army rules the country. They have suppressed all avenues for dissent, political dissent. The newspapers and the television and all other media is completely servile and subservient to the Pakistan army. So you only hear good news coming out, but what is actually happening on the ground is not allowed to come out. So let me give you a couple of numbers. Pakistan is one of the few countries in the world where poverty has actually gone up. Almost 50% of the people, perhaps even more, have now fallen below the poverty line. These are not my figures. These are World Bank figures, right? And figures of independent economists, not Indian economists, Pakistani economists. Pakistani economists have also calculated that the rate of unemployment in Pakistan is now crossed 22%. Can you imagine 22%? The power bills, people, you showed in your report the kind of power bills that are coming. Gaurav, you and I in Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, all these places, at the margins, which means that if you're consuming, say, even 500, 600, 700 units of electricity, at the margins, my bill is 7 rupees 50 paisa per unit, thereabouts. Could go up 5-10 paisa up and down. You know what the bill in Pakistan would be if we were consuming the same amount of electricity? Per unit cost is close to 70 rupees. Can you imagine that? You've spoken about the bills of petrol bills. There is no public transport, so people have to buy fuel so that they can move from one place to another. And then you have this entire Ashrafia or the elite which has captured the state in a way that people like Shahbaz Sharif and all these bigwigs in the government have sugar mills. They first export sugar at dirt prices, then import sugar and make a killing over it. Okay, so they are left and right looting the state along with the Pakistan army, which is trying to grab as much properties for their generals and for their officer class as they can. Now, when you have
So,
this
Dr.
kind
Mirza, does the Awam in Pakistan not see this? That how even the Sharif brothers or the Bhuttos or the army milks them? They have massive estates overseas and the people don't have enough for 2 square meals. And yet, is it just because they're fighting Kafir Hindus of India, they are willing to undergo this agony? The Awam.
No, the Awam know everything. They have no leadership, They have no direction. And plus, they are divided in different ethnic groups. The Pashtun, the Sindhis, the Baloch, the Pashtuns. They are all divided. And the Pashtun are fighting their own battle against Pakistan. The Baloch are fighting their own independence movement. There is an independence movement in Balochistan. Then Sindhis are also, up in arms. And the problem is that there is no one centralized leadership that could organize a fight back and take the power from the military. The main thing is military. They control the economy, they control the foreign affairs, they control the parliamentary government. Everything is under the control of the military. And now with this crisis, I think that this crisis is going to be used as a precursor for Asim Munir to have an excuse that he has come in as a president to govern the country in a better way than the civilian government. I don't know. But the
No, so are you saying Sushant Sareen, is Dr. Mirza saying that we are about to hear another Mere Aziz Hamwatno, and this time from Asim Munir? Is he about to do a Musharraf in Pakistan or a Zia and directly?
Yeah, Gaurav, I think it's a bit of a stretch to think that that is going to happen right now. For a very simple reason. You have a servile puppet as Shahbaz Sharif, who is the Prime Minister, who is a
Boot
rubber
polish, they
stamp.
call him.
Yeah, he will do whatever, this guy, Asim Munir asks him to do. There will be no resistance, none whatsoever. Now, what is it that Asim Munir can do which Shahbaz Sharif is not ready to do for him? So what is the great shakes that, he will accomplish if he takes over power directly? They are controlling the economy. The finance minister is their man, basically. They have set up something called the SIFC, which decides everything, which has not been able to attract a single paisa of investment, but still controls, where investments are going to come, what new projects have to go, all of that. They control virtually everything. So what is it that Asim Munir will take over direct reins of power and achieve, which he cannot do through these puppets, and let them take the fall for whatever decisions they make, because it's no skin off his nose. Now, if, however, things cross a tipping point, I don't think the Pakistanis, I don't think they have, any guts or gumption to rise up and revolt against the rulers. But assuming in the unlikely event something like that was to happen, that is when the army could step in directly, blame it all on the politicians and say that now we will take care of you. But until that moment, I am a little skeptical whether the army will take over directly. If you have these kind of politicians who are ready to do boot polish at the drop of a hat, why would you not let them do boot polish for you?
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Mirza, we've often heard, that the revolution in Pakistan, right from the 1950s and then 60s and then 70s is about to happen. And everyone claps on, hum dekhenge, lazim hai, hum bhi dekhenge. They clap, have a drink, go back home and sleep. Can the Pakistanis ever rise against their army?
Well, firstly, I agree with Sushant sir when he says that there is a very, meager possibility of a military takeover. And I agree, because there seems to be no reason for them to come in when their dirty work has been done by Shahbaz Sharif and other civilian politicians. The answer to your question is another question. What is Pakistan? When Sushant sir and you say, okay, the people of Pakistan, cannot do this or that, what are you referring to? Which Pakistan? Baloch are fighting, Pashtun are fighting, Sindhis are fighting. So I don't understand. I mean, in Gilgit-Baltistan, more than 40 of our leaders are behind bars because they are fighting for their rights over mineral and mines. Same is in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir. So when you say that Pakistani log uth nahi sakte, so who are these people you are referring to? Because I don't see those people. So if you can elaborate, or Sushant sir can elaborate, that would
the
make
Pakistani Punjabi Musalman of the Punjab province of Pakistan, will he rise against the Pakistan army? But perhaps, Dr. Saab, we will have to leave that answer for another debate, because I've run out of time on this part of the show.
Punjabi,
the Pakistani Punjabi Musalman. The others are all already up in arms. Dr. Mirza and Sushant Sareen, as always, many thanks for joining me. We shall have this debate in the days and weeks ahead.